people who are online today. So yeah, we'll get started. We are going to do our foot thing again that we did. We were doing hand and foot, and then we were taking the hand out. But we'll get there slowly and steadily on that as well. That was our little challenge for last week, which I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. So let's start on our backs, and we'll begin nice and gently. Finding our way onto our back. And getting ourselves settled, at least on the mat. So whatever the journey was to get to here, let's try and leave that off the mat. So sometimes it's a bit of a you need to get out. It's a bit of a kerfuffle to get here, but we're all here and we're ready to go. So let's place our hands on our belly, interlace the fingers. And let's take a moment just to again settle ourselves, have a yawn or a sigh, and land, as we say, on the mat. So taking your focus to your breath, and just notice the breath as it enters into the body and exits. And sometimes just having a sigh is quite nice. And we're going to take 3 deep belly breaths. So you're going to breathe in through your nose, allow the air to come into the body, reach the tummy, expand the tummy as big as you can. And then as you breathe out, soften the tummy. Allow the air to come out of the mouth, and it's a gentle sigh. Again, we're going to do that in your own time. Breathing in, feeling the belly expand. And then as we breathe out, see if you can just soften the back into the mat. And then let's take final breath in. So breathing in through the nose, expanding the belly. And this time, letting go of any busy thoughts that might be swimming around in our mind, distracting us from the next hour ahead. So let's let go of those thoughts and start to think about ourselves. And then bring your breath back to a neutral pattern, whatever that is for you. And then gently opening the eyes if they're not open already. Let's bring the hands beside the body. Make sure the knees are in line with the hips and the feet are in line with the knees. And we're going to inhale, lifting the arms above the head. As we do so, we're going to take that hand all the way up. And as we exhale, start to float the hands back down. And so Rachel, if you want to take your feet to the floor, that's it, yeah, because well, I've done that. Let's do that once more, breathing in, lifting the hands above the head, and breathe out and down. This time, keep the hands where they are. Breathe in, and on the out breath, you're going to tuck the pelvis under. Start to lift the hips off the floor, gently lifting the hips off into a bridge pose, trying to maintain the knee and the hip alignment. You might not go very far, that's all fine. As we breathe in, we start to roll down through the spine, bringing the hips back up. Breathing out, tucking the pelvis under, and lifting the hips up high. Breathing in and starting to roll the hips down through onto the back. Last time, breathing out, lifting the hips up, a little bit of a flow just to get us moving, working on the hips, the back. Breathing in and bringing the hips back down to the mat. Breathe out and start to bring the right knee into the chest. And hugging the knee nice and tight into the chest. Circling the knee outwards, so we're going to take 4 circles outwards. 3 and 4, and then 4 circles inwards. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Good. And then just hug the knee once more into the chest. Lengthen the left leg away from you, so the left leg becomes nice and long. You lengthen you're hugging the right knee in towards you. And then slowly release the knee from the chest. Plant the left hand onto the knee. The right hand goes into a T position. You draw the left knee across the right knee goes over to the left side of the body, and we come into a spinal twist. You might need to shuffle onto your side so that you can start to look at your hand. So my gaze is going to my right hand, and my left hand is on my right knee, and I've got a little two-way stretch on there, yeah. And you might just find you need to rock over a little bit. Good. And then release the hand from the knee and rock the hips back over onto your back. Lovely. Let's bring the knees back up to the ceiling, feet flat on the floor. Plant the hands back into the mat, and we're going to do another bridge, this time a little bit more expansive. So we breathe in, and on the out breath, start to roll the pelvis all the way up to the ceiling. This time, interlace the fingers underneath you. So bring the hands together, interlace the fingers, and walk onto the shoulders. So you're coming up a little bit higher this time onto bridge. My hands are drawing down through to my heels, and I'm lifting my heels and they're on. That's it. So we're just beginning to open up the front of the body, warm the back of the body. And then release. Bring yourself back onto your shoulders. It's a little walking action, and then start to roll down through the spine. On the next out breath, bring the left leg in towards the chest and give the leg a little hug. Release the knee and start to circle the knee outwards from the hip. So easing out the hip joints, warming everything up. And then circling the knee the other way. Warm out. And then bring the knee in towards you, hugging once more, but lengthen the right leg away from you. So we've got the leg nice and long. Take the right hand on top of the left knee. The left hand comes into a T position. We draw the left knee over towards the right side, rolling onto our hips. So we have a little roll, and taking your gaze over towards the left side. A nice spinal twist. And then drawing that left knee, hip back into the mat, and then coming nice and long. So lengthen both legs away from you. We're going to inhale. Both the arms are going to come up above the head, and we take a little lean and a stretch and a reach. On the exhale, take your feet and your hands over to the right side of the mat. So we're going to create a banana or a fish shape and have a little stretch. We're going to take one breath here. You're going to breathe into the left side of the body. So taking a nice deep breath in, we breathe in and out. And as we breathe out, come through the center of the mat. And then we take the arms and the feet over to the other side into a little fish shape. Back is on the mat. And then coming back through center. Lovely. Let's plant the hands back into the mat, walk the knees up to the ceiling, feet flat on the floor. I'm going to roll over onto my side and come through into a seated position on the mat. So use that. And find your way. So let's take a few little hip rolls. So we're just going to circle it at the hips. So your hands can either be on your knees, or you can be beside your hips. If you need to be on a block, you can absolutely be on a block as well. But we'll find the sit bones first, so trying to stay nice and long. So we're just going to work on some pelvic rolls just to ease out the hips a little bit more, ease out the spine. So I'm giving myself a little bit of support beside me. I'm going to tip the pelvis forward. And then I'm going to take my weight over towards the right side, and then tuck the pelvis under, over to the left, and then coming forward. So just pause for a moment. What I mean by tucking the pelvis under and tipping the pelvis forward is, I'll just do it in this position just here so you can see. If I tip my pelvis forward, I'm arching my back, and then when I'm tucking my pelvis under, I'm rounding through the back and I'm drawing my belly button in. I'll just do that. So I'm tipping my pelvis forward in this position. So my whole pelvis is tipping forward here, and then I'm tucking my pelvis under, so I'm tucking my tailbone under. Now that's much more difficult to do when we're in a seated position, but that's, if everybody just has a little rock of the pelvis forward and back, we kind of understand how that is. And if you do find it difficult, find a block or a cushion, and we'll just have a little ease out. Are we all aware now? Have we got our pelvis going? Excellent, lovely. So let's plant our hands in towards our mat. We're going to tip the pelvis forward. So tip the pelvis forward, just the pelvis, not the back. And then we start to shift our weight over to the right side. We tuck the pelvis under. We take the weight onto the left sit bone, and then we tip the pelvis forward. So it's a really small thing, but you're creating this circle affair, and it's quite inward feeling. So it's almost like you're having to tuck and tip all the time. Are we all concentrating really hard? And then let's go the other way. That's it. It's almost like stirring the pot with the hips. So let's take the weight over to the left hip, tuck the pelvis under, over to the right hip, and we're just warming up the pelvis. Good. Lovely. And then we're going to create, now we've got that action, I am going to take my weight forward. So I'm going to tip my pelvis forward. I'm going to take my weight all the way over, a slightly bigger action, and then taking it all the way. Good. And have a little bit of a circle with the body. Nice few pelvic rolls on that side. When you've done 3 or 4, finish at the front and then reverse it. Good. And then coming back. And focus is down. And then come back up again. Good. We'll come back to that. So we're going to take our weight, spine nice and straight and tall. Inhale, the right hand comes up. Exhale, keep that right sit bone down on the mat as we take a little lean over to the left. We inhale, lift the right hand up, and exhale and lower. Inhale, the left hand lifts. Exhale, take a little lean and a stretch. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Good. And again, inhale the right hand up, take a little lean, a little stretch. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale the left hand up. And exhale. Inhale and lift. And exhale and lower. Let's take the legs long and change the legs over. Have a little ease out of the hips if they're feeling a bit stiff. And bring the left leg in front. We're going to have a little walk forward of the, so a forward fold. So take the arms forward. We're reaching out in front of us. Little crab hands just to give us a little bit of support. And when we can't go any further forward, we're going to just soften the head. Taking a couple of breaths, and with each breath, just easing out, lengthening the spine and softening the muscles. Once more. Breathing in and out and soften. And then inhale, bringing the hands, walking the hands back up and coming through up to a seated position. I'm going to just swing my bottom over to the long edge of the mat. So I'm now got my feet one end of the other. Good. And we're going to come into reverse plank. So I'm going to slide my hands towards my hips. My feet are flat on the floor, the knees are up to the ceiling. My hands are going to come to my hips, and I'm going to bring my toes, fingers towards my toes. This might be a shoulder one for you, so just be mindful of this, okay? It is on the shoulder. I'm walking the feet back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into reverse tabletop. So I inhale and lift my hips off the floor and coming in for a little rise. If you can't, it's absolutely fine just to take, Sonia, so if you just take your hands in, if you take your weight into your wrists, then actually that's still opening the chest. That's absolutely fine. How's that going? Yeah? And take your gaze up to the ceiling, just there. So fingers pointing that way. And it's a wrist exercise. Well, you can, but it's a wrist exercise, so we're working the wrists out. But if it's too painful, then just keep the hands this way, or just keep the hands off the floor and lift the chest up to the ceiling so that you don't take your hips off the floor, and lower for everybody else. Well done. Leaving everybody lying, hanging there, well done. Come into a seated position and give those wrists a workout. So it is a little bit of a wrist workout. If it's too much for you, it's really just about we haven't done that for quite a few times, so it's just finding something new. Let's come through in our seated position here with our legs nice and long. We're going to inhale, lift the hands up to the ceiling, and then exhale. I'm going to reach forward, reaching towards my feet, bringing my hands towards my knees, my shins, ankles, or feet. And we're going to take 3 breaths here. So we're going to inhale, and then as we exhale, see if we can soften. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. And walking the hands back up. Lovely. Let's bend the knees over to one side, and I'm going to come into a kneeling position at the long edge of the mat for a few side planks. So we've done upward facing dog, not upward facing dog, reverse plank. We're going to do side plank, and then we're going to do forward plank. So we'll have a little go. So variations on a theme here. So I'm going to take my right knee, and my right knee is going to come out to the side. I'm mirroring you. So I'm in this position just here for those online. I know that's good. And then my left hand is going to come into the mat right underneath my shoulder, just here. How are we doing on, which is your bad shoulder there, Sonia?
No, that's the bad one.
That's the bad one, good. So if you want to take your hand to your hip, how's that? You're comfortable, yeah. So what you're trying to do, Sonia, is open out the shoulder so that we're opening, that's it, yes. Can you feel the opening of the front of the body without it? Good. Now for other people, if you want to, you can take your hand all the way up to the ceiling, creating a nice perpendicular between the left and the right hand. Good. Now, might be for some people, if you want to, you can extend the right foot out into a long line, taking their balance. And at this point, I want you to think about a thread that's going from the waist, it's going from the bottom of here through the belly and lifting up to the ceiling. So you're aiming to lift the waist nice and high. Now release the right foot from the floor, and we're going to lift that up if you can. If you can't, just keep that foot on the floor. Good. And we're opening out. And everybody should be feeling their left side working nice and strong. Keep breathing. And then plant the foot into the mat, bend the left elbow, bob yourself up and come back into our kneeling position nice and gently. Give those wrists a little workout again. So if your wrists are feeling a little bit stiff, give them a little workout, interlacing the fingers or up and down with the wrists. We're going to do that on the other side. So I'm going to plant take the leg out first. So I'm trying to be nice and square and open with this hip. That's it. So my hips are kind of front facing. Well done. And then I'm going to plant my right hand into the mat. In here, just in this position, just here for those online. It's a little bit skew-whiff because I haven't got enough power cable. So the left hand comes in, so the right hand comes into the mat, the left hand lifts. So for you, Sonia, no, that's fine. That's all right. So if you just place your hand on your hip and you can bring your hand up here. How's that?
That's all right.
That's okay, right, lovely. And then again, Carolyn, if you want, what Sonia is doing here is doing a little bit of this, so she's not taking the weight into the hand, but she's still opening up. So, sorry, variations and differentiation. Take the foot away from you if you can, Sonia, that's brilliant, well done. And then lifting through the waist, you're opening the body, trying to be nice and flat, lifting the waist up, and then finally lift the foot off the floor, so the left foot comes off the floor, finding the balance. Because we normally do a spinal balance, this is a side plank. Good. Opening the body. Keep breathing. And plant the foot back into the mat. Lovely. Bend the right elbow and bob yourself up. How's that doing? Well done. How are you doing today? Are you all right? Yeah. Good. That's all right. Let's swivel over now to our all fours, and we're going to do cow cats again on here. So how are you to work on? Are you?
I think probably do it when put my weight on the left hand.
No.
Weight on that hand.
You can't put any weight on hand. So if you just want to come and kneel, Sonia, that's all right. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to do cow cat. Again, it's tipping the pelvis forward and bringing the pelvis, tucking the pelvis under. So what you're going to do when you're in a kneeling position is you're going to tip the pelvis forward here. So stick your bum out, and then you're going to tuck the pelvis under here. So really squeeze the bum cheeks and push the hips forward. That's it. Can you feel everything working here? Yeah. So again, it's the same thing. It's the arching of the back and the curving of the spine. For everybody else, you can be on the hands, and we're going to come in, and we're going to do inhale into tipping the pelvis forward, and exhale, tucking the pelvis under. Inhale, tipping the pelvis forward. We'll get a stronger arch of the back, and exhale, tucking the pelvis under. Inhale, tipping the pelvis forward, and exhale, tucking the pelvis under. Good. And then we're going to come into plank on this side. So Sonia, I would like you to work your way through onto your belly. So in some way, however you can get to it, come onto your forearms and then just work onto your belly onto the floor. For those other people, we can have a half plank, which is on kneeling, just here with my knees on feet on the floor, my wrists underneath my shoulders, or we've got full plank with my toes, knees off the floor. So I just want you to be on the floor. I don't want you to take any weight into your shoulders, if that's all right. Okay. And we're going to hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees back down, and then bring the chest back down to the mat, and we're going to come all join Sonia onto the floor. Here we go. Lovely. So we're going to come through into a few little upper back stretches. So I would like you to lengthen the legs behind you. So take the feet to the bottom edges of the mat. I'm going to slide my hands perhaps at shoulder level, but tucked in onto the mat. So I've got a little bit of support. And you can do this without putting the weight into your hand, Sonia and Carolyn. So actually what we're trying to do is we're going to lengthen the legs away from me, engage the legs. As we inhale, try not to take so much weight onto the arm, but we're lifting the shoulders slightly off the mat and coming into Sphinx pose. So my forearms are on the mat already. That's it. How's that? Is that working? Good. And then exhale and lower. We're going to do that once more. Inhale and lift. You might take your back a little bit higher. Take a nice little stretch and reach. Reaching shoulders down into the back. Lovely. And then exhale. Keeping the forearms on into the floor, into Sphinx. And exhale and lower. Last one. Inhale, keeping the forearms onto the floor, into Sphinx. We upper back nice and lifted. We're going to take our gaze over our right shoulder, reaching our gaze over towards our right foot, taking a little twist and a lean. We inhale, bring the gaze forward. We exhale, take the gaze over the left shoulder and look at the foot on the other side. Good. Have a little stretch through the side. We bring the gaze back. We exhale, lower the back. And this time, bring the legs together in line with the hips, and we're going to come into child's pose. So slide the hands down towards the rib cage, and then start to gently take the hips towards the heels in a nice, soft, gentle pose if you can. And Sonia and Carolyn, if you just get to how you would like to be. So untuck the toes, Sonia. That's it. Have the toes flat. You can open the knees nice and wide. That gives you a nice soft base. And then just gently softening this arm, bring the hand underneath the foot, the fist underneath the forehead, and soften into child's pose. So this is a nice, gentle. So we're opening at the hips. How's that for you? Yep. So we're going to stay in this pose. If you want to, you can bring both hands underneath your forehead. If not, you can bring your palms flat is another option, with your forehead on your palms, or your arms out if you want a little bit more of an extended pose, bringing your hands out, but that's a little bit more dynamic. So we're just softening at the hips and allowing everything to ease open at the hips. So if you want to have a little rocking motion with the hips, you're very welcome. And then inhale, start to walk the hands back forward, bringing yourself back onto your tummy. And we're going to come into cobra pose from this position. So for those that this is going to take some weight into your hands, Sonia. So I'd like you to just keep back into this cobra here. Carolyn, again, if you've got a sore shoulder online, keep your arms flat, if that's all right. For everybody else can do that. But for those that want a slightly more dynamic stretch, we're going to lengthen the legs away from us, take our hands towards our chest. We tuck the elbows in, we inhale, and we lift the back a little bit higher. And we take our gaze, that's it, well done. And then exhale and lower, we're going to do 2 more. Keep those elbows tucked in, we inhale and lengthen, lift the chest, and exhale and lower. Inhale and lengthen. And this time take your gaze over the right shoulder in cobra, reaching towards the right foot. Lengthen the body forward, exhale, take the gaze over the left shoulder, and bringing the gaze forward, exhale, and lower. And then bring the legs in line with the hips. Again, we're going to come into child's pose. So using the hands, start to come through all fours, drawing the hips towards the heels and softening at the lower back, giving your back a little workout again. So again, you might want to take fists underneath your forehead. You might want to take palms flat and forehead on the palms, or arms out long in front of you for a little stretch through the spine. So you've got a couple of little options there, depending how you're feeling today. And then walking the hands up to the knees. We're going to come up into a kneeling position, ready for camel to open out through the front of the body. So option 1 is to bring the hands towards the hips. And then option 2, you can take one hand towards the heel, lifting an arm off. Or option 3 is to come through and take both hands onto the heel into full camel pose. So you've got a couple of options there. So taking your hands, I'll do that. So Sonia, I'm going to do the modified option, which I'd probably recommend here, which is hands towards the hips. We inhale. We just take the hips forward, leaning forward and taking the gaze up. And you're supporting the lower back whilst having a little support. That's it. Well done. And then inhale, bringing the body upright. And coming up again. Good. We're going to slide the right leg forward. So using the right hand, let's bring the right knee forward and we're going to come into a lunge on this side. Lovely. So let's take in the hands either onto the knee. We're just going to slide the hands forward and bring the hands either side of the foot. So got a nice little bit of a knee lunge. Well done. Lovely. We're going to inhale, lift the body upright and bring the hands towards the knee. So have a little rest. The hips come back a little bit, so we ease the hips. We exhale, start to bend the knee back over the ankle, reach the hips forward, the hands slide either side of the foot, and we come in for a little stretch. 2 breaths here, breathing in and out, in and out. On the next in breath, bring the hands back up to the knee, slide the hips back, have a little rest of those hips. And exhale, start to bring the knee forward last time, bringing the hands, sliding the hands forward, either side of the knee. And then once we're here, we're going to take the left hand into the mat. The right hand is going to come onto the inside of the right foot, and you're going to walk that right foot out towards the right edge of the mat, and we're going to come into tiger pose. So bring the hands slightly more central into the mat. Now the foot's out the way, and we're going to take a slightly open lunge. So this is, lovely. And we're going to, if you want to, you can use the right hand on the right knee just to open the hip out a little bit. We'll feel that deep inner stretch in the thigh. And then walking the hands back, walk the foot back in, bring the foot in line, hands onto the knee, and then we'll slowly bring the body upright and bring that leg in. Good, and we're going to do that on the other side. So come back into the kneeling position. If you need to assist the foot, if the foot's not doing what it needs to do, you can always just manipulate the foot or bring the foot out or do what you need to do in order to get into that position. So just be mindful of your own body sticking and things like that. That's absolutely fine. So left leg is going to come forward. We're going to walk the foot slightly further forward so it's in front of our knee, so we've got somewhere to go. And then we inhale. On the exhale, bend the left knee, bring the hips forward, and then slightly walk the hands forward, either onto the blocks or either side of the foot. We'll get a little stretch. On the next in-breath, it's a moment here. Walk the hands back up to the thigh. We'll draw the knees, hips back over the knee, and take a little out-breath. Breath here, breathe in. And on the out breath, come back into that quite deep running lunge, bringing the knee over, hands come back down beside the foot. You take a little stretch and a reach. We inhale, bring the hands back up, hips come back over the knees. Take a little rest, a breath, and then we exhale. Once more, bringing the knee forward, hands beside the foot. Moment's rest, and then we're going to walk, plant the right hand into the mat, walk the left foot over to the edge of the mat, and then plant the left hand in front of the left foot. And then we're coming into lizard pose. And again, if you're quite into this pose, you can bring your forearms onto the mat, but I'm not it's a little bit, find out where. Use the knee and the hand on the knee. And then bringing the hand off the knee if it's not there already. Lift the hips up, walk the foot back in line with the hips, and then lifting the body upright. Slide that knee back onto you. And guess what? We're going to come into our first downward dog of the day. So tuck the toes under, walk the hands forward. So we're only going to do a moment because we've got a couple of people with shoulder issues. Sonia, you're going to tuck your toes under here at the back. Yeah. And then you're going to rock onto your heels, and you're going to roll up through the spine, coming up to standing, okay? For everybody else, we're going to come through into downward facing dog, lifting the hips up to the ceiling. We're going to take a couple of breaths here. You can take a little moment rolling up nice and slowly, Sonia. And then exhale, we're going to take our gaze over to the fingers and walk our hands up towards our feet. Lovely. We're going to roll up through the spine, coming up to standing. Good. And then getting up through. Well done. Let's come through to the long edge of the mat. So we're going to come into a little flowing sequence that we've been doing. I think we did it last week, but we're going to do it anyway if you haven't. So some people were here, some people weren't. So we're going to take our right foot out, some strong standing poses, nice hip openers. So we take the right foot to the short edge. The left foot's going to come to the long edge. Oh no, sorry, guys, we start here. We start my fault. We start toes pointing forward, heels pointing back. That's absolutely my fault. And your feet want to be in a nice wide straddle position. Let's bring our hands up to our hips, and we've got a little flow of a few movements that help us get through. So we're going to do this right, left, twice through. So we're going to inhale. As we exhale, keep the hands on the hips and just bring the body parallel with the floor. We're just going to take a little moment. We breathe in, and then on the exhale, we breathe out and bring the hands towards the floor or keep the hands on the hips. We're going to breathe in. It's just a little moment here. Bring the hands back to the hips, and we lift the body upright. Good. Turning the right foot out to the short edge of the mat and bringing our feet into warrior two position. We're going to inhale, we bring our hands all the way up to shoulder level. We exhale, we bend the front arm and we bend the left leg. If you've got a sore shoulder, bring your hand towards your hip and tilt the body this way. If you want to, you can bring the forearm onto the thigh. If you want to, you can take the hand all the way down to the floor, and we're an extended side arm. So the right arm is on the thigh or the hip. The left arm is either to the ceiling or reaching all the way above the ear, palm facing down. Keeping the legs bent, we inhale, we tilt the body back upright. We come through warrior two position, bringing our arms parallel with the floor. We slide the left hand down to the thigh, come into reverse warrior by turning the right palm up to the ceiling, and we inhale, taking the gaze all the way up and through into the ceiling. As we exhale, we come through back into warrior two. The palms are facing down, knees bent. We inhale, we lengthen both legs, and this time bring the hands towards the hips. We turn the feet outwards, so heels pointing out, heels pointing in, toes pointing out. We release the hands from the hips. We inhale. We bring the hands all the way to the ceiling. As we exhale, we come into prayer squat, opening the knees and bringing our hands to our heart center. Lovely. Keep it, that's it. Nice. Inhale. We lengthen the hands all the way up. And exhale, hands come down. We do that once more. We inhale, lift the hands all the way up. We exhale and bring the hands through Anjali Mudra all the way to the chest, opening the knees out, making sure that our knees are not rocking in. That's it. Keeping the body upright. Lovely. Breathe in, lift up, and exhale. This time the hands come to the hips, toes pointing forward, heels pointing back, and we're ready for a little cycle on the left side. So turn those feet again, Sonia. That's it. Lovely. Brilliant. We inhale, exhale. Take the chest forward, the body comes forward, parallel with the floor. We inhale on the exhale, release the hands from the hips, and slowly bring the hands towards the floor. We take a moment, one breath, breathing in and out, and soften at the backs of the legs. On the next in-breath, we take the hands towards the hips, lift the body upright, and on the exhale, turn the left foot out to the short edge, and the right foot comes to the long edge. We inhale, bring the hands up to shoulder level. Exhale, bend the left elbow, left knee through our warrior two position, tipping the body so that the forearm comes onto the thigh or to the floor, and the right arm takes over either on the hip to the ceiling or all the way up towards the ear, depending on how we're feeling today. We inhale, keep the legs bent, come through warrior two. So we're in this warrior two stance, lovely, and then reverse warrior. So slide the right hand to the thigh, inhale the left hand up, tip the body the other way, and take the gaze upwards. Lovely. We inhale, lift up, and exhale, turn the feet out, toes pointing out, heels pointing in, ready for our five-pointed star. Lovely. Engage those thighs. So we inhale, the hands come up to the ceiling, palms meet, exhale, they come through the center line, through into prayer position, opening the knees. Lovely. Should be feeling a bit soother at the hips now. Inhale and open, five-pointed star, and exhale and lower. We inhale and lift, and exhale and five-pointed star. Lovely. And inhale and lift, and exhale, five-pointed star, and down. Lovely. Do you know what? I've just looked at the time. We're going to do it once each. So let's bring the toes forward and come back into standing. Take the hips, a little hip wiggle, and we're going to come and do our balances that we were doing last week, or the week before, which were around our what was it, hand to foot, those ones that we were doing. So I want everybody to find a little corner that we're going to work on. So Sonia, if you want to find a wall, either on a radiator or a chair, if you're super confident on the mat, feel free, absolutely, if you're feeling confident. So what we're going to come and do is Feet parallel. I've got my hand on the wall or a chair, a little bit of balance. Good. So try, if you're working hand on the wall or bed or whatever, trying to have the hand forward. If you have your hand too far back, it takes your shoulder back. So just be mindful of that. And then what we're going to try and do is we're going to start to right hand on the hip. We shift our weight over towards the left leg. We float the knee up to this hip level. And then we're going to release, taking the right hand and placing the 2-piece fingers around the big toe of the right hand. A right foot even. Lovely. So that might be us for today. If you want to, what we can do is start to lengthen the foot forward. So we start to lengthen the leg forward. If we only get to here, that's absolutely fine. If we're taking it forward rather than to the side, so we're taking it forward. Good. If we can't and we're here, that's absolutely fine. Good. Now, if you want to, you can extend your practice and take the leg out to the side. If you want to, you can also just float the knee out and take a little, say, well done, and then come back down and lower, well done. Now, this is what we've been working on this for a bit because we've just been doing this and this on the side. So Karen, you might have missed a few steps, so I apologize for that. So if we want to, we can just open out. Let's come on to the other side and we're going to reverse that. So I'll just hold on this side, coming forward. So once more, we're going to shift our weight over to our right foot, taking our balance over. We float the left knee up towards you. You can either keep the knee up there and open it out to the side, just in a gentle pose, so that's level 1. Or exhale, take the hand to the toe and hold it there in front of you. That's another level 1, 2. And then if you want to, you can take your foot out in front of you and then taking the foot out to the side. I'm hitting the wall. And then in your own time, bringing the knee, reversing that, bring it down and down. Well done, guys. How was that? That was a step from last week. It does help holding on to the ball. That's all right. We're here for the wall. The ball's our friend. So I think we're running out of time, but I think there was a lot of perhaps just tucking under and bent knee. So we might really want to think about lengthening that standing leg and then opening the leg out to it rather than the tucking under that we've got. It does. It does. So at that point then, but it's a practice. It's absolutely fine, because what happens is, if that's the case and you feel like you need to tuck under with a bent leg, don't hold the toe. Have a straight standing leg. Just keep this leg upright. Keep that leg nice and straight and turn out. Really push the leg into the mat. That's it. Well done. And then, well done. Yes. Well done. We had a little win in the studio. So he was balancing. I saw it. It matters. It counts. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is sometimes the working leg, which is this leg that comes out, isn't as important as the standing leg. And it's the standing leg that you need to feel really grounded in and strong. So you can be doing all the things that you want to with this leg, but if this leg isn't straight and strong like a tree, then actually you're kind of missing that energy. And this is the starts to buckle and bend, yes. And so what happens is when it starts to buckle and bend, you lose the strength in the leg. So it's almost like you have to almost lower this leg to straighten this leg. Yes, and now you're feeling strong, and I can see that, and you've got better balance. So sometimes you have to forego what this leg is doing. Woohoo, well done.
If you find one of these knots in the floor and concentrate on it, and don't let your gaze go off it, it's quite hard with a floor full of knots. If you find one and keep your eyes on it, it helps you balance.
It helps you balance. Let's come into a nicer tree balance just to finish with. So again, we're going to come into tree pose just because I think this was a battle, this one. So we're battling this, our continued weekly battle with this pose, so it's fine. It's called a yoga practice. Okay, some days you might actually go, oh, and then other days you go, oh, and then it's fine. So let's plant our hands on our hips, open our elbows out nice and strong. So what we're doing is just engaging the side muscles. Let's send our weight over towards our left leg, releasing our right foot from the floor, turning the leg out from the hip and bringing the foot either to the ankle, propped up on the floor, to the ankle, the calf, or if you want to assist it up to your thigh, you can. Release the hands from the hips and bring the hands towards your heart or above your head. And then take a moment to focus on something in front of you. Soften the gaze. And then when you're ready, coming down off the floor and coming down. Well done. So sometimes when you're having a little battle, you tense everything up and you go, and then actually if you just soften into the pose and start to relax into the pose, you'll find you'll ground it a little bit. So maybe that's another little help for you. Let's start with the hands on the hips, engage the core muscles, draw the rib cage in and zip everything up, shoulders into the back. We shift the weight over to the right leg, release the left leg, really feel the foot planted onto the mat, bring the knee outwards from the hip and bring the foot either to the ankle, the calf or the thigh, assist it up if you need. Find a focal point in front of you and then bring your hands to your heart or above your head. And then when we're ready, let's release that down and just give those ankles a little workout. Excellent work. Lovely. Ooh. Let's come to the front edge, short edge of the mat. And we're just going to do the first bit of salute to the sun to get us down towards the mat. So find a nice strong mountain pose where make sure the feet are parallel with the knees, hips. Spread the feet nice and wide onto the floor. Feel the energy going up the legs, through the spine. The shoulders are softening into the back. The arms are just turned out slightly and the gaze is forward. We're finding a really open, mountain pose where we're actually imagining ourselves on top of a mountain looking out in front of us. Good. We inhale, we bring our arms all the way up to the ceiling, up the side of the body. Exhale, bring our hands towards heart center. Lovely. We inhale, cross the right thumb over the left thumb, take the hands all the way up to the ceiling. And we take the guys. Now, if you can't get your hand all the way up, just bring it to your shoulders. As we exhale, the hands part, and then we bring our hands either side of the body, coming through a swan dive or a flat back, and then bringing the hands towards the ground. We're going to inhale into hot monkey pose. So either fingers in touch in front of you on the floor, we've got a spine, or you can bring your hands to your thighs. So if you want the slightly easier option, we bring our hands towards the thighs and make sure we've got a nice long spine. We exhale, we start to fold from the hips and bring the hands back down to the ground. Option one is to bend the knees, find the floor and bring the one knee down and then the other knee down, coming nice and softly. Or you can step back through into lunge and then back in through plank and finding your way onto your knees, depending how you're feeling. Good, and when we're down. Lovely, and then let's swing our legs over to the front again. And we're just going to bring our feet out in front of us, coming onto our position just here. So a couple of easy stretches. We're going to bring our left leg is going to be long, so make sure your foot is flexed, knees to the ceiling. We're going to bring the right leg and bend it, bringing it to the calf or the knee or the thigh, bringing the body upright, so we're nice and straight and tall. Inhale, we bring both hands all the way up to the ceiling or to the shoulders, depending how we're feeling. We exhale, we bend it at the hips, a nice straight spine until we can't go any further forward. And then we bring our hands to our knees, shins, ankle, or feet, depending how we're feeling. And we're going to take 3 breaths here.
And each breath, you're just going to start to, on the out breath, lengthen the spine, release the back, and bring the arms forward. Breathing in, the body will lift as you exhale. Start to push the sit bones into the mat, lengthen the spine, and soften the back over. Last time, inhale, body lifts. Exhale, and lower. And for those that have got sore shoulders, you can stay here. If you haven't, take your right hand over the left foot. So my right arm is crossing over my left leg, either to the thigh, the ankle, or the foot. And then my left arm is opening out diagonally, and I'm going to take my gaze all the way upwards. So I'm opening my chest. Again, this is quite a dynamic one for the shoulders, so just be mindful of this. We exhale, bring the body down, and then coming through, walking the hands all the way up, coming back up to a seated position. Let's swap legs. So my left leg is going to, right leg's going to straighten, my left leg's going to bend. Find your two sit bones so you're not all tucking under. We inhale, bring both hands up towards the ceiling. We exhale, bending at the hips, keeping the body nice and straight and long, reaching the chest towards the thigh, and the hands come to the leg. Three breaths, another breath, breathing in, lifting the body, lengthening the spine, and softening over the leg. Again, inhale, and lengthening, exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then take the left hand over the right leg, either on the calf, the ankle, or the foot. And then the right arm goes diagonally behind you. We're twisting at the waist and bringing our gaze behind us towards the ceiling. So I'm twisting and opening out. Yeah. And then bringing that hand back. And then walking the hand back up the leg. Well done. Final pose to finish with. Just taking the soles of our feet together. And we come through into cobbler's pose. We inhale. On the exhale, leaning, bending at the hips, keeping a nice straight spine. When we can't go forward any further forward, we soften over the legs, bringing our hands to our feet. And then we're only there, a few breaths, rolling up through the spine to finish. Bring the knees in and we start to roll down through the back into Shavasana. Work the hips down and we start to roll down through the spine and find your way down into the mat. Lovely. So just getting yourself softened and settled. And you can either have your legs nice and long with your arms by your side, or feet, knees to the ceiling, feet flat on the floor, or the hands on the belly. And you're just beginning to settle, and maybe some shifting. And then just begin to notice your breath. Just notice the body responding to the in-breath as it opens out as you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, it softens and closes. Breathing in and out.
Breathing in and out. So starting with the forehead, the eyes, the face, the cheeks and the mouth. Breathe into the face, feel the face expand, and as you breathe out, just allow that face to soften, relax. Breathe into the shoulders, the chest, the upper back. Feel it expand, and as you breathe out, just notice the softening of the shoulders, the heaviness of the arms. Breathe into the belly, the middle back, lower back and pelvis. Feel your torso expand as you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, feel the weight of the body just sink slowly into the mat. Take your focus now to your thighs, legs, knees, calves, and ankles. Breathe into the legs. Feel the legs expand with air, and then as you breathe out, allow the legs to feel heavy. Open out from the hips. The weight of the legs and the ankles balancing. And then finally breathe into the whole of the body. Feeling the air expand the body. And as you breathe out, relaxing and softening the whole of the body. Feeling calm and relaxed. Very slowly, if your mind's wandered off, start to bring yourself back into the room. Begin just to breathe again a bit more deeply and send that air to the fingers and the toes, hands and feet. And a little stretch. A yawn. Or just linger on the floor for a bit longer. And then begin to just work your way onto your side, ready to come up to a sitting position when you're ready. I've just noticed the cutest thing.